https://discord.gg/flat-earth. Welcome to 24/7 Flat Earth Discord channel. Be sure to go to VC Chi Check and 1 to get your VC verification tags to get involved in the conversation about our Earth. Be sure to bring your verifiable Earth curvature evidence, though.
Enemy spotted.
24/7 Go Globe Evidence Fishing Part 15.
Years ago,
Okay.
about
I mean, I can look through the wiki
years
real
ago,
quick, just try and see if he's got any statements on it.
so I'm not like a computer.
Do you know any key phrases that would go along with that?
100%, but
So I could like control F it real quick.
what it
with the wiki.
was just gotta get. He was trying to weigh the world, supposedly. This was supposedly written on his paperwork by his own
Yeah, I
man.
got no matches of that. Or no, I misspelled world. There we go.
Why is Blue Alteran muted?
Nah, I don't. Of the Earth, maybe?
I mean, either way, it seems like it's
Since
kind
the
of
no
decisive.
gravitational force of the Earth, relative density of the Earth. Coverage express results in terms of the density of the Earth, the density of the Earth, the density of the Earth. He certainly seemed to be interested in the density of the Earth, but it seems like most of it he seems to have already known.
Well, you can estimate the mass of the Earth using like a density of the Earth and the size of the Earth. You can kind of make a mass estimate. It's usually wrong based because most people, like at the time, they didn't know the density of the Earth, like how it changed as you got closer to the center of the Earth. But yeah, Cavendish was not trying to weigh the world. He was trying to measure the gravitational constant G. It is not something that you can derive. It is a something you have to measure. And that's what he was trying to measure. So if you look at Newtonian gravity, if you look it up, it's big G times mass 1 times mass 2 over r squared. The problem is that you, without knowing the value of, let's say, for example, if you're talking about like a mass, like your mass and the Earth's mass, and you have the distance between them because you have the radius of the Earth, unless you know either the Earth's mass as a value or you know G as a value, you don't know the full equation. You just know you know what G times the Earth's mass is, but you don't know which, like, the value of each, right? So you know the product. But what he's trying to do is measure G directly. Because if you have two masses where you know both of their masses and you know the distance between them, you have all of the bits of the equation you need. All you need to do is measure the acceleration due to gravity between those two masses, and you have G. Physics students do this experiment all the time. In physics class.
You said they need the radius. Then they say you have the radius, right?
You don't need R in the in Newtonian gravity is not the radius, it just means the distance. In the case of the Earth and something on the surface of the Earth, that's it's the radius of the Earth because that's the distance between the centers of the two masses. It's not the radius in general. So like if you have, for example, the Earth and the Sun, R would be the distance between the Earth and the Sun. And so in the Cavendish experiment, it's the distance between the two masses.
The distance to the Earth to the Sun, it's based on the radius of the Earth and the distance to Venus, and then from there to the Sun, right? That's how you get that?
I don't see what that has to do with the Cavendish experiment. That's what we were talking about.
Well, because you're throwing the radius into the equations, and you're including the radius
We
from
just
the
said
Earth
radius
to
was
the
not
Sun.
an equation.
But he said the radius from
Cavendish,
the Earth to the Sun. He said that.
The radius. Wait.
He said distance.
Oh, sorry.
I did not say the radius from the Earth to the Sun. I said the distance from the Earth to the Sun. But also the Cavendish experiment has nothing to do with the distances to the Earth to the Sun. It has nothing to do with anything else. All it has to do with is the two masses where you know the values of their masses, you know the distance between them, and if you can measure the acceleration due to gravity between those two masses, you can measure the you
was
can
the
measure G.
hypothesis?
You can measure
What-
Newton's constant directly.
What was
And
his
if you have
hypothesis?
Newton's constant directly, you can derive the mass of the Earth.
What was his hypothesis in the experiment? In his paper?
What's the what? I'm sorry?
Hypothesis. What was his hypothesis in this paper?
Let me look through it real quick.
Because the one you brought up, CEO, is doesn't match what he's just said. You're contradicting each other with that.
What,
Cavendish
Cavendish
experiment.
about finding Big G?
You said completely something else. Look at what he said now.
I said it's for finding Big G.
So what's the hypothesis now? You gave two versions of it.
Me or him?
Both of you gave two different versions.
What do you mean two different versions? What was my version?
That mass, the attractional mass is gravity. You didn't say that.
No, that was somebody else.
No,
that was
me.
That was
yeah,
you.
that was manufacturer. The
I would
attraction
say
Anyway.
that the experiment was more not trying to prove that gravity existed. It was trying to derive a constant that can be used in other measurements. Again, because it's a constant, it can't be derived. It is something you have to measure. And so that's what he did. He measured it for use in other experiments. It's not a third grade science project where everything has a hypothesis on it. His hypothesis, I guess, would be that he can isolate these two masses and just measure the gravitational force between them without any other forces acting on it. And he pretty much did pretty well. He didn't get like extremely accurate one, but he got it into the right
He's in the ballpark.
He was in the ballpark. So his Cavendish's value gave G as 6.74 times 10 to the minus 11. That's actually only off by 1% from the actual value. So I'd say he probably did a really good job given his experimental setup.
And just to clarify, Manufactorum was giving a definition of like what gravity of Big G was, and Blue was only stating how the experiment worked. So there was no relation between the statements that was given, other than the fact that they spoke about Big G.
Yeah, I wasn't really. I mean, I have no idea what his specific hypothesis was. I'm just saying, if you wanted to find that masses attract, that would be the hypothesis in that situation.
Are you talking about like the weight experiment?
It's the Cavendish experiment where you have two weights in a horizontal plane, like
the torsion wire with the two lead balls and stuff. Yeah.
You should use the
and so
weight.
the idea is that the hypothesis is that if you isolate all other forces on these two balls, they should have an attractive force between them. That is gravity. It's not the direct aim of the experiment, but it is I guess if he had found that they didn't have an attraction to each other, that would be an interesting result. But he did find an attraction, and he did find that if it was Newtonian gravity, this is what the capital G constant would be.
Hello, everyone.
To explain the force that he saw.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hello. I have one question.
Shoot.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
Okay, so the flat earthers have experiment they put, I think, maybe the circle in the wood, let's say in the wood, and they maybe go from that maybe 3 kilometers, and from telescope you can see it on YouTube, and the circle wasn't the same distance and the same direction on horizontal where they on the start.
Are you talking about the thing in the documentary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which documentary is talking
And
about?
that is one of the few millions arguments that Earth is round.
Oh, he's just talking about that one documentary where the guy shot a laser at the boat and then it ended up not going the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, no, I think it was just a flashlight or something.
Do you guys know about the way experiment where you
I think they had a laser. I'm pretty sure they had a laser.
No, they burned the laser. The laser
There
they
was
left
two
it on
experiments.
for too long.
There was two
That they left it
experiments that
on.
they
The
did.
laser. They're talking about the laser right now. So the laser they left it on for too long and it burned, and then they couldn't use it. So they use a flashlight, which is not the same thing as a laser.
I mean, I think the experiment works either way.
No, it doesn't.
I'm pretty sure the laser still was active, and then they did a separate test with a flashlight.
They burned the laser.
Are we talking about the 2 holes in the styrofoam and 2 guys on either end?
I don't know why you would be. Thousands of years of globe proof, and it took a flat earther in 2020 to figure it out for you guys. Are you serious?
No, it just took a flat earther to prove it to other flat earthers. So are you talking about the one
Okay.
he
Oh,
cut
is that the
2
case?
holes
Is
in like
that the fucking
styrofoam, right?
case, eh, buddy? They took a flat earther to prove it to other flat earthers, eh? So that
That's
proved
what he
the globe.
said.
So that proved the globe?
Is he still here? Are you talking
Are
about
you
the 2
retarded?
holes in the styrofoam?
That proved the globe?
Okay, he answered the question.
We just
He is
disproved
retarded.
one of your things. That's all we did. We weren't stating
I've-
anything else.
Have we got gold proof to it here?
We're just asking question, guys. Come on.
No, okay. So the way they did it in the documentary is
Guys, what about Big Globe?
They came up with a hypothesis and they said if the Earth is flat, we should see X. If the Earth is round, we should see Y. They did the experiment and they found Y. I'm just relating their experiment to you. I don't know if they had an IV or a DV or whatever, but that's what the guy was.
You don't know if they had an
is this
IV.
the
which
Bedford
is the
level
supposed-
experiment?
Well, wait a second. He says he doesn't know if they had an IV, which is the supposed cause, which is why. Then he says he doesn't know why, but this is why. What's the matter with you?
Oh my fucking
That
god!
was a weird. That
so
was a weird
convoluted.
take. Is this the Bedford level experiment you're talking about?
I think so.
It's a variation of it.
Okay.
Do you guys not use like the weight experiment where you put like a weight under like really accurate scales and it like actually pulls down the weight?
Experiment. I don't know if they had an IV, but I'm going to keep calling it an experiment, even though experiments have IVs. What's the matter with you guys?
Do I have to talk to this guy?
What is an IV? Like, give me an experiment with an IV, because as far as I can tell, everybody's pointing out ones that you did one where you guys went out and do them, and then we can point out, oh, here, this is what you guys are experimenting to show the Earth is flat, and then we go and we use the same thing, and you're like, no, that you don't have an IV. I hate to inform you, but they do.
we did okay. So we did an
there you go.
experiment.
Someone
We
supposed to
did an experiment, right? So we did an experiment, right?
Is this autism?
So we
You
did an
guys have done a
experiment,
lot of
right?
experiments. You've done
So we did an experiment, right?
What did we do?
We did an experiment, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
We did. Okay, so what was the IV? Because experiments have IVs.
Okay, what do you mean by what the fuck do you mean by IV?
Independent
you don't know what an
variable.
experiment is. So
No, I don't know what an IV is. Explain it to me. I don't know. I'm an
If you
idiot.
don't know what
Explain
an
it to me.
IV is, if you don't know what an IV is, you don't know what an experiment is.
But if you don't know what it is, then explain it to me.
It's an independent variable. That's the
Oh,
supposed cause
independent
of
variable. Right.
cause of an effect.
The independent variable of the Curve Your Enthusiasm video would be the height at which they had the flashlight. So that would be the independent variable. It's the variable that they change. They had 2 different scenarios where if the Earth was flat, I think that he would be able to hold the flashlight at 17 feet, and if the Earth was round, he would be able to hold it would actually be at 23 feet, and you'd have 2 different things. So the independent variable would be the height of the thing. It's the thing you change. I mean, it's kind of that, but like you don't need.
Okay,
You're making an observation.
Stop, Mr. Blue, whatever your name is. Okay, so no, I got it. I already understand what he's saying. So he's saying that the supposed cause is the height of the flashlight. Okay, so supposed cause of what we saw, height of flashlight, and tell us where curvature occurs here.
The cause? Wait, the cause is not the IV.
That's the IV, supposed cause. That's what an independent variable is. That's what you're going to manipulate to test its effects on the observed phenomenon.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean, this
the
guy
observed
just, like,
phenomenon
reminds
is
me of,
not
like,
the
discipline
curvature
on
itself. The observed phenomenon is going to be whether the light is visible through the 2 holes. So that's
Okay,
the
so this really has nothing specifically directly
me,
to
Daddy.
do with curvature. So we'll have to
Yes,
move on.
it does, because it's not okay. Listen, you have observed phenomenon you can't. I'm not even going to say that what I was about to say, but like you asked for the experimental conditions and I gave them to you, and somehow it's like not valid for you.
Yes, you did.
And
No,
they're not
I didn't
really
say
it's not really an experiment,
listen,
by the way. It's more like it's more
I'm
just
gonna
like a set of.
I'm going to respond to what you just said. Okay, I didn't say it wasn't valid to me. I just hashed out what your experiment was. You told me what you saw. You told me what you manipulated to see what you saw, and none of it had anything directly to do with curvature. That's what I said.
Why are we talking about?
Sorry, did you say you said
Not
you
my
didn't say
experiment,
it
by the
wasn't
way.
valid?
Yeah, it's not valid. The flat earthers didn't prove the globe for you. So guys, move on to your next copium husk.
What do
I
you
don't
think?
understand.
What do you think was being
what part of
demonstrated
the
by that?
yeah?
What do you think was being demonstrated by that experiment?
He just told you. You
No,
saw where the light
you
was.
tell.
You saw where he manipulated it to be where it was. That's it.
And what do you think is being? What do you think the information is being found out about the differences in the outcomes? Because
Are we talking
every
about
time,
flat Earth?
obviously, it's the fucking Earth.
He told you
Nice.
height of light. That's what he told you.
And
That's
the
it.
results, right?
I thought
We got
I thought
results.
Hollow Earth was better.
Yeah. He said
So-
that you're gonna see it depending where he put it in terms of height. That's it.
And there's variable outcomes.
Yeah, depending on how you vary the height of the light, according to that guy who just spoke.
Okay, and why
That's
does
neat.
varying the height of the light cause different outcomes?
Oh, so why does your IV? So why the why basically is what you're asking? Because
No.
IV is already the
Why
why.
is it that when you move the flashlight, you gain different results on the boat?
That would be another experiment because that's another cause and effect question.
That
so
is
what hypothesis do you have for that?
another experiment. That is
Yes,
the
it is.
experiment. No,
Yes,
it is literally part of the experiment.
That was a very simple question.
No, that part is interpretation. So you want to interpret why you saw the light do what it did when he manipulated his IV, which was not curvature or anything to do with it. It was just height of light. So that's your interpretation. How are you going to test that?
Hold on. So I think what they're
yeah, that's the end of the line.
Wait.
Can we
I
break
think
it
what
down
they're
again?
asking
Can we
you
break it
is,
down again?
If you're familiar with the experiment, you should be able to tell us what is being demonstrated when that happens. Like, you believe in a flat Earth, right? So what is it about raising the height of the light that changed something? Right?
So now we're back to the interpretation question.
No,
It's not interpretation.
Yes, please interpret it.
What were they
No,
demonstrating?
it's
please
not.
interpret it for us.
It's not.
Okay,
so
yeah,
you're not.
actually, no,
Okay,
that's a
it's not
good point.
Stop butting in
It's not
everyone one at
interpretation.
a time.
It's not interpretation. So then, why don't you tell me why changing the height does what it does, and then tell me why whatever you're going to say after that isn't an interpretation.
I'm just hey, look, I'm just here to learn about flat Earth. I
Just
want to
listen.
How is anything not an interpretation by this setup? At this point,
Oh,
you give your opinion on anything. It's an
okay.
interpretation.
Stop right there, Mister. How is anything not an interpretation? Who just not 2 minutes ago, 2 seconds ago, said it's not interpretation. What's the matter with you?
I said by your definition. Like, what are you going on about? Listen to the words.
Well, what I'm going on about is somebody a minute ago just said it's not interpretation. Now you're here to
and
tell
I
us that
just said
everything is
by
interpretation.
your definition. I said that out loud, dude. Come on.
Okay, so is this getting to a measurement of the curvature of the Earth that you guys hallucinate on the daily?
That's what they were trying to find out.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Okay, like let's go through like what because I think if some people aren't familiar with it in this conversation who are just listening in, this experiment that they're describing, right, is there are two models that they're trying to compare to each other. And what you do when you have two different models is that you find where their predictions are going to be different. And you're saying like this model predicts X and this model predicts Y. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the measurement and see what that measurement is, if it's X or if it's Y. And in this case, flat Earth would predict that the light would be visible at 17 feet. And then let me finish. I want to finish my statement. And the round
you've been straw manning the whole way through your statement.
Holy
so you
shit,
said there's
dude.
two models. There's two
Let him
models.
speak.
There's no, because he said there's two models. So we're gonna get that second model. Obviously, he thinks the globe is a model. We won't challenge him on that for now. Whatever. We'll just call it a model. Show me the second model, Post that in
Wait,
chat.
models don't have to be real.
Wait, he said he had 2 of them, so post the other one that's not the globe.
No, they were contesting the other model.
Did you hear what I said? The other model. Post
Okay.
that other model.
Both of the models are
You're
illustrated
muting
in the
me
video.
before I could talk.
I said post the model. You said they're
They're both
comparing 2
posted.
models.
They're posted.
They're comparing 2 models. Post both of the models.
They're both posted. They're in the same video. They show
Okay,
them
let's-
back to back.
They're
same
okay.
video.
So the models that are in the video itself, but the flat model would be.
They're in the video itself. Okay, no, post the model independently that they used for that video with the experiment that they're.
You
mute people because you're a coward.
No, I want to see the models that he's comparing. He said they
Wait,
took 2 models.
but they do it in the video. They're their proposed models.
What
That's
models?
what I don't. Oh my god!
You guys keep saying this. Proposed models. Show me both of them first. So you got the
So
globe.
I mean,
Just give you a pass
I'll
on
take
that. It's not
screenshots
really a
really quick
model.
of the video and show you the model that they're talking about in the video. Like, I don't understand what you want me to show you by like either one of the models. Do you want me to have like a diorama of the Earth and according to them, or do you want like just a description? Like, what do you want? I don't understand.
Okay,
Like, this
so
is an
this
impossible question you're asking me.
It's an impossible question. Okay. This is over for you then, because you just said they have 2 models. I asked you, what's that other model? And you go, that's impossible to answer. So you can't possibly tell me what you're
Here's the
talking
model.
Can
That's
you
the
listen
model
to
that they're
the full
talking about.
sentences people give to you? He said,
No, we
I can
can't.
give it to you.
I know, guys. Please fucking stop this. Chill out, for fuck's sake.
In the video, it clearly says that there's 2 models, one of which the curved Earth and one of which the flat Earth, with the setup of the boards. If you just let him speak for 30 seconds, then he can explain.
I got it. I got it.
If the terrain is completely flat and the light travels in a straight line, then the model that they're trying to predict is saying that if they hold it at 17 feet, it will go that direction. Netflix is making obviously made this diagram, but they're going off of the descriptions of the experimenters. So they're not. If you are claiming that they were dishonest, that's fine. Show me where they said something different. You have to show me where they said something different, because they even said in the video, and I can't take a screenshot of audio. But like, what? Why are you trying to
This is a
interrupt?
straw man you're responding to. I never said anything about Netflix lying or anything. I just wanted to see the 2
Jim
models.
I'm sorry. I was looking in the chat. I was looking in the chat. Sorry. Okay,
just
so
wanted to see 2 models side by side that these guys are comparing with their tests. That's all I'm asking for, because you said there was 2 of them.
That's what he just
so
did.
I'll take a I'll take a screenshot of the other model. I mean, this is in the video, but I'll take a screenshot of that one too.
You know that models are phenomena, right? So this is a scientific model that you're talking about that they have.
I mean, models are phenomena.
What? Models phenomena.
In this
They're
case,
based on
in this case, this model would be a description of reality, or a so basically the description of the shape of the ground. That's the description. Those are the 2 models. There's one model that says that it's completely flat, and there's another model that says there's a slight curvature. And the slight curvature model is the one that predicts that you'd have to hold your light above your head at 23 feet. And then the flat model is the one where you don't have to do that because it's flat. And
but you believe this shit, or
that was the 2 models they were comparing.
Okay,
they had different predictions, and they did the measurement. And when they did the measurement, it aligned with the round model, and it did not align with the flat model.
It was
That's
a
the
semantical
experiment.
issue.
That's the results.
It was a semantical issue, because you keep using this term model when a scientific model is for phenomena, that's cause and effect, stuff happening. Right, you're just talking about shapes and then inserting this word model. So that's where all the problems came from.
And all this is an observation anyway, man. What the fuck?
It's an observation, and it's an observation. There are 2 theorized descriptions of reality, and one of those theorized descriptions of reality was more consistent with the observed. That's the.
Okay.
I mean, is that a better way of saying it?
Why? Why?
I didn't say scientific model.
Sure, but how does this prove that the Earth is flat? I'm just curious.
It doesn't.
No,
Proves
it
the
didn't.
opposite.
It does the opposite.
That experiment explicitly doesn't.
Oh, okay.
The
So
flat earthers prove
how
themselves
can
wrong.
right?
It
But so
explicitly
how can
does
you?
prove that the Earth is not flat, or that the Earth is flat, or that the Earth is.
You
Sorry,
just
it
said it's
completely
not. Oh,
just.
okay.
If
All
I'm
right,
sorry,
all
I'll
right, all right.
rephrase. I misspoke. Yeah,
No,
I
no
know.
worries,
I
man.
bully the guy with
Yeah.
that fucks. All right. Anyways, yeah, it kind of proves that the Earth isn't flat. It's just how the light
Okay, cool.
activated.
Why are so to the flat earthers? Why are like other planets round? Like what happened there?
They don't believe
Like
in
why is
planets.
Mars?
Depends which one you talk
What are
to.
you saying? Are you saying that if these things in the sky were triangles, the Earth must be a triangle? Because that would be a
Kinda, yeah.
logical fallacy, bro.
No, that's kind of what I would believe, bro. If all the other ones are triangles.
Well, it's called affirming the consequent. As I said, it's a logical fallacy. We don't think, like, just because we see shit that we live on shit. Like, you don't go to the forest and think you live on a
But like,
tree.
bro, every planet is round. Like, so how come ours is?
Right, bro. Who says we're a planet for starters? You've not got a radius measurement, and you've not got any motion detected. And also, as I say, it's
Hold
it's
on,
a
no motion at all.
to say that we live on shit because we see shit.
But bro, okay,
No motion
sure,
at all detected. Not a 15 degree per hour drift.
What is that caused by? Though?
Oh, well,
By
it's
the
just
Earth's
motion that we're
Zach,
detecting of something. Hold on, it's motion of. Hold on, it's motion of something we're detecting.
Is there data for this?
Yeah.
Where? Netflix.
We gotta let me hold on. Let's bring up
No.
Bob Nodell. I think he said it best himself in that same documentary.
Oh, was that the same one?
Yeah, the same documentary where the guy gets up there, his little laser or ring laser gyroscope, or at least he claimed as a ring laser gyroscope. Ended up not actually being a ring laser gyroscope. I digress though, right? It was a 15 degree per hour drift that he detected on several tests that he did with it.
From the heavens. I think he
Yeah,
said it
on
was something
several.
from the heavens.
Yeah,
He
well,
said
he
it was
tried to claim
heaven
that. Yeah,
interference.
they try and claim that it's the aether, which they have no evidence for.
What the fuck is a heaven interference, bro? And I'm a Christian. Like, I don't
The
even
aether,
understand
right?
that.
Some of them will push the idea
Yeah.
of the aether, which they have no evidence of.
Right. What is the aether?
The luminiferous aether was like a
I
debunked idea. It was a debunked medium that they tried to use to explain how light could travel because they didn't know of the wave particle duality of light. So they thought, hey, it's a wave, so light needs a medium to pass through. So therefore, luminiferous aether.
But isn't it easier to just not like apply all these fucking mental gymnastics and just read the fucking science? You know what I mean? Like, why do they have to make up terms and shit? Like,
Well,
right,
Kotex, I would like to say something as well. I think you made a point about the other planets. One thing is that they don't accept they do not accept, which is a perfectly fair thing to do. They do not accept the Copernican principle, which is what you're operating on. The Copernican principle being that we're not in a special observational place in the universe. And so you're operating under that by saying like, oh, well, I see everything around me is spherical, like all these other things, and I don't feel like I'm on a special thing, so I must also be on something that's round too. It's like saying, like for example, if let's say you were in a society where you didn't know what your own eye color was, but everybody around you had blue eyes. It's like, well, maybe I'm not special. I probably also have blue eyes.
Right. But
no mirrors.
Sure, but it's just like, we haven't seen a flat planet anywhere in space. It's just kind of
we haven't seen
it wouldn't make sense.
No, that's what they want you to think, man.
Who says we live on a planet?
Yeah, okay.
You need to think these guys
you're
believe in like we live in like a dome suspended by something.
Yeah,
They don't believe in
sure,
space
sure.
and stuff. Usually.
So the dome just
Bro,
floats in nothing.
see, wait a minute, lads, hold it, right? If you're
All
going
right.
to have a discussion in this room, man, I'd rather you just stop the fucking, he says this, flat earthers say this, oh, they don't do this, they believe this, oh, they got debunked here. Rather than talk about people and about people's past and what happened last night or fucking yesterday, who gives a fuck? If you've got evidence, present it. Don't talk about somebody else who was debunked or whatever the fuck. Do it yourself or don't do it.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking to you, bro. I'm talking to the other dudes who were repeatedly doing it. Bro, you're fucking talking through me. You're fucking talking through me, man. You go, yeah, it's all right, man. I'll just keep talking. I'll just keep talking.
I think we get your point.
The 15 per hour drift that was detected, 15 per hour hour drift, right? So it goes like, if there is a 15 per hour drift, therefore the Earth is a globe. So the laser gyroscope detects a 15 per hour drift, therefore the Earth is a globe. That's the argument.
Yes, we understand the argument. So, anyways,
so you're dismissing all the barrel. You're dismissing anything else. It has to be the ground moving. What about if you look up and you see the sky moving? Can that be the 15 per hour drift?
Not of a gyroscope.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Not of a
I mean,
yeah.
if the gyroscope is detecting a 15 per hour drift, that's what you're saying. That is the ground spinning. Is the spinning of the globe, the curving water ball.
Yes,
pretty compelling to me.
So
Yeah,
if the
plus you could have
sky is
water on the ball,
moving,
bro.
the sky moves in one direction in the northern hemisphere and the other direction in the southern hemisphere. When you're like, if you actually are thinking about it in terms of like flatness, so it would have to be moving in opposite directions, which doesn't make sense because essentially all observers, for all observers to see what they all see, the only thing that explains it is if either one, the Earth is round and the sky itself, if the Earth is round and stationary and the sky just is like a sphere that turns, or the Earth turns and the sky is stationary. Either way, the Earth's round.
Right. And the Earth is smooth.
Either way. So you look at the sky and you see the sky moving. Therefore, the thing under your feet is a curving water ball.
I see an effect anywhere on Earth. Every other observer on other places on the planet all see collectively this effect, and the only way for all of us to see the same kind of thing, especially dependent on the hemisphere that we're in, it has to be that there is we are on the surface of a sphere. That is the only way that's possible geometrically.
That's the only way that is possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's your opinion, right?
There is
That's your
no
opinion.
physical explanation for the shape of the mass of Earth. There's no explanation for the shape of the Earth other than a sphere that would
So
explain.
you can't find the sphere under your feet. That's why you have to look into the sky and make claims about the sky, because you cannot find the curvature.
Why not?
You can't find the curvature or the movement under your feet. So you claiming things about the sky.
Well, we're on a really big sphere compared to our bodies.
Where is the sphere? Have you measured this? Do you have a direct measurement of the curvature of this sphere?
Why do you need a direct measurement if other measurements that are indirect show that the curvature is very slight over short distances? Why would you want a direct measurement if you know it's going to be inaccurate?
You don't want a direct measurement of the curvature of the Earth. You're just going to look at the sky and say, hey, the sky is moving, therefore, the thing that you're ignoring, the thing under your feet, that's moving because the sky is moving. Or
so
curving.
You're aware of, are you aware of
You're making all these claims, you're stacking all of these claims based on observations of the sky. And you're claiming the things that are happening in the sky are because of the ground.
Yes. The things that are happening in the sky and the way that we see the sky are happening because of the shape of the planet that we're on, especially when you're talking about not just me as one observer on the planet, but everybody all around the planet is seeing this effect.
I think Blue Ultra, I think what he did was a bit disingenuous what Blue Ultra's, I guess, position is, because saying, I've got one reason for why the Earth is round, right? No, it's not like that. He's got several, right? There's like every phenomenon he could possibly point to that's of a magnitude, bigger than just my immediate situation.
It's literally round.
The point is that every phenomena that he could point to that's beyond the immediate magnitude of my bedroom, right, is going to like indicate a spherical Earth, right? So when you say, he thinks the sky, therefore spherical Earth, no, there's a collection of things that point in this direction. And like I said earlier, right? Like you either construct a theory that comports with the phenomena you see in the real world, or you do what you do and just sit there and be skeptical and not offer any alternative.
What do you mean? No, for an alternative. We've got reality. You're giving us an alternative that goes against reality. I get that.
So, anyways, yeah.
You're ignoring the thing. You're ignoring the direct measurement and saying, all right, let's ignore that. Let's ignore the thing that is in question, the curvature of the ground under your feet or the waters across it. Let's ignore that and let's look to the sky. We see things in the sky, do a mathematical construct, and okay, there you go. Look at the globe under our feet in the sky. Good job, guys.
May I ask? Do you think any picture from space is real, or do you think they're all fake?
Space isn't real, bro. So pictures from space are not real.
Okay, so do you believe? Right, there's been a mass cabal, a mass cabal of people, from the Met Office to NASA to every possible organization.
They don't think the people in the weather
have come into this conclusion, right, by accident, right, or by on purpose.
No, bro, no. Before you, whatever you say, when you started claiming all these people,
okay, make your argument.
No is the answer, bro.
So you don't believe there's so you don't believe that. So the point is that
we don't think everybody's in on it, bro.
But do you think all the cosmological organizations are also like the Met Office and so on?
That's what I'm saying. No, I mean, like there's people work at the Met Office that clean toilets, that read the weather.
Okay, the people who are involved in putting out the data.
No, but like there's people. Like what data?
Have you just being, you know what I'm saying? Why are you being so obstructive?
I know, listen to what I'm saying. What data have they got? If you'd let me finish the fucking sentence, what data has any of these people that they're looking at prove?
For instance, if NASA releases a photograph.
Listen, bro, you just said to me, then you spoke over me, and I try, to speak over me till you listen, and I still was talking, and you still just.
If NASA posts a photograph from space.
Again, you just done it again, bro.
Okay.
You're not listening to anything that gets said if you're talking before people finish. What is the point of having the discussion?
That's true.
What's the point of having this discussion?
Okay,
They're doing it just now.
Yeah, because you're just rambling and you're complaining.
You're just rambling. I'll just shut you up and then we'll try and speak to somebody else who wants to fucking stop over talking.
Yeah, bro. Actually, I want to hear what the flat earther has to say. Hey, yo, flat earther. So, like, what made you believe the Earth is flat?
Hey, yo, flat earther. Is that like a term that you used to like get somebody's attention? Hey, you flat earther.
It worked. It worked. Anyways, why did you become a flat earther?
It worked. Well, I mean, the Earth's always been flat, so I've always been a flat earther. But what made me find out that I was tripping balls on acid. I met a dude one night and we were talking about the Rothschilds, 9/11, all the usual conspiracy
right, the usual.
And he just came out with, there's no space, NASA's not in space, ISS is fake, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, gravity, all the shit that I was regurgitating, that I thought that I knew. I thought I was intelligent when it came to space and all that shit. And he's like, nah. And I was like, right. A week later, I was like, right, I'm going to prove NASA's in space. And that was almost 10 years ago. So you could find legitimate content when you look. If you type flat earth, you would find legitimate flat earth videos rather than just nonsense that they're trying to push. So I started digging.
So you do think the organizations are pushing nonsense?
What do you mean?
Do you think like the people, like when NASA released a photo or when the Met Office released a photo of space?
He's talking about like the Flat Earth Society.
Yeah, but I think he said that. Yeah, I know he was describing how he became a flat earther.
But I don't think everybody at NASA has been.
Not everyone. The janitor isn't, but like you think that.
No, but even the people working on components, working on satellites. And
who the fuck knows then? Explain to me. Who knows?
I know that.
All these, they've got 9 non-disclosure agreements. They all have to sign. So
sure, but Big Boss, but Big Boss, I just have a, but it's a global, scam. I know, but it's like global, right? So it's like Israel's in on it, America, China, right? Japan, everyone's just in on it, right?
India.
Well, everybody in every country.
Everybody, like every government, they all hate it. Like Russia hates America, but they agree on this like one thing, right? Like China hates America, but they agree on this one thing.
I think Occam's razor is always a useful thing. Like, let's put all the science to one side, right? I think because I think with the science sometimes it gets lost in the mud because I feel like whatever they think science is something. Oh, look, I'm not a scientist.
Exactly.
Right?
You're talking to a guy that doesn't accept science. We might as well just
exactly. So I think Occam's razor, Occam's razor might be useful here because let's imagine a world where you have North Korea, every cosmological organization in the world, and their governments, because they're usually government organizations, right? And people will live and die and keep this secret, right? Now, there's two questions that follow from this, right? The first one is, why would they do that, right? Because it's not going to look. If we found out the Earth was flat tomorrow, it wouldn't ruin any. Like we would be, oh, that's interesting. We never thought that, right? And two, right? How the hell would antagonistic governments keep such a secret to the grave, and the only people that could find out the truth of the matter are these schizophrenics on Discord.
Thank you.
Well, for Facebook as well. That's where all the stuff comes from.
You just want to start talking about people and flat earthers and they did this and me. You cannot have an honest discussion, man. I don't know what the.
Well, I just think the simplest explanation is just obviously that.
Schizophrenic fucking retards that are flat earthers on Discord.
Well, I'm just saying there's the simplest answer. The simplest.
Fucking laughing after he's finished over fucking talking usually.
No, but bro, it's just like, why would these countries that hate each other agree on this one thing? Like, out of all the things they could agree on, they all just agree on, like, okay, but we're all going to trick the people.
Is it
and
like
tell them
Rothschild? Is it like Rothschild News?
Yeah, but Rothschilds aren't in North Korea. They're not in Iraq,
No, they
right?
They own Reuters. And
They own North Korea.
They own nobody's in North Korea. Rothschilds aren't in China and North Korea, bro.
Bro, they own.
They're not in India.
Media.
They're not even that wealthy of a family anymore.
They own Reuters.
Kim Jong Rothschild, dog. Come on.
They're the ones that own it. So they own mainstream media. So if they're fucking pushing a narrative, like they want you to believe that all these countries hate each other, all you've got is the mainstream media telling you that.
Wait, no, but we can hold on, but we can observe things that other countries say, right? Like for instance, I feel like if the Earth was actual, hold on, just let me. I haven't talked that much.
All I said was yeah, man.
North Korea would take any opportunity they could to dunk on the West, right? Like we can agree on that. I hope, because they absolutely would, right?
Well, that's what
so
the TV
why?
Says, so.
Wait, no, like from their own shit. Like from the information they release to the world, unless you're saying that North Korean like national news is Rothschild propaganda.
Well, I mean these clowns that at the top, the elite, if you want to call them that, which are comprised of the Rothschilds and all these other groups of supposed secret societies. If there's key like players in the government that are in these secret societies and these big men's rich clubs, then they're kind of influencing policy if they've got members.
Hold on,
club, if you know what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. So just to make sure I have what you're saying right, every global leader who has competing interests with. Wait, okay. So hold on. So
in my mouth, bro.
No, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
What you're saying is
okay. So I'm trying to clarify. I'm trying to ask clarifying questions.
There's key people in all these top positions in these governments, and there's fucking loads of rich people influencing what comes out through these supposed governments' mouths, and then onto mainstream media. Then it's pushed. Narratives are pushed. People are fucking believing what they're told about these world leaders through the mainstream media. So it's a nice system they've got, man.
If I may ask,
wait, hold on, wait, Britnat, before please. So I just want to make sure I have this right. So is there a news corporation like North Korean news is a nationalized thing? Like that is from the North Korean government. Kim Jong-il has direct control over it. So that's why I use that as an example. Can you give me like non-mainstream?
Is he your mate? And you know,
or not Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un. Sorry.
But we don't know these people, man. We
get
information from. They come from governments. Now, if you believe governments, especially if you believe these fucking like North Korean governments, I mean, they're I would think less trustworthy than the untrustworthy motherfuckers that run the Western governments.
Wait, I would agree with
anything any of them say.
I would,
for fuck's sake. So I don't know what they say, but the shit we do find out that they say is fucking garbage. So I'm thinking that the North Korean motherfuckers, they spew just as much garbage anyway. So what goes on behind closed doors, man? I don't know. What the fuck?
So hold on. The reason I'm asking this is I want to understand if there's any form of like media I can consume that you would consider legitimate.
Apart from independent stuff, but then you've got to say, are they really truly independent? What?
Yeah, how would you verify that? Like it could all be a psyop.
So, you said it.
Yeah, well, but then how do you trust any media information that you get? Like even from other flat earthers, it could all be a psyop. How do you verify it? Like how do you trust a media source?
What I can trust is nothing to do with media. What I can trust is, though, in reality, is my own fucking senses.
Okay, I think that the issue when I said that is
push past that, make sure
all you.
the fact that the Earth's not moving and we don't see convexity. So that
My
I have
questions were
experienced
answered.
that
Thank
for
you.
myself, and so do I need to trust a media source to realise the Earth's not moving?
Yeah, the issue I have here is that, look, you have hundreds of states across the world. Some would like to see each other burn, and some not, right? You know, if some countries could destabilize another country to the nth degree, they would take it, right? If they had the opportunity. You know, we see this with other things, right? They do it in thousands of different ways. But and there's this and it's posited that there's a secret here. There's a secret here that every government is closely guarding, and their subsidiary branches, so like the Met Office in the UK or NASA, right? And to me, it seems incredibly unlikely, right, that all states on this planet have managed to come to this agreement for centuries, right? And their successor states, when a state gets destroyed, they don't in their last breath say, well, actually the Earth is flat, right? Never happens, right?
What about the Antarctica Agreement then? Almost every country signed that, and it's still enforced for another like 25 years or some shit. It's not even up for discussion. It can't even be fucking questioned for another couple of decades or 50 years, whatever the fuck it is.
The Antarctica Agreement just says that you can't claim territory there. You can go to Antarctica.
Yeah, you can go, but below the 60th parallel, there's no free. You can't just freely travel.
What some
states so they do have agreements. They do have agreements. You're saying no, they don't have agreement, but they do have agreements.
No, so, what states have agreements? States have agreements.
So that would mean
no one's denying that.
Listen, so that would mean the whole world signed a fucking agreement, even though some of these countries have been at war. There's been terrorism between fucking places and whatever the fuck else has happened, global fucking financial shit and all that stuff. But the agreement's still there.
Okay.
And still no one goes there without strict
permission. It's one thing to say, right, that states have agreements. States have agreements, right? Like, for instance, joining the United Nations is an agreement, right?
Is that not correct? What I'm saying?
Well, the Antarctic Treaty is misunderstood.
The whole world signed a fucking agreement, even though you said, how can all these countries be at each other's throats?
There's one.
If they were able to, they would fucking do this and that.
Well, there's one kind of agreement, right, which is like
to this day, even though all these fucking factors that you claimed would mean that they couldn't have an agreement, that is the case.
I know that states can have agreements, right? But like these agreements are usually manifest themselves in like, all states join the United Nations, or all states agree to like solve climate change, which are public affairs, right? Now, to say that these states have a massive secret sort of thing going on, a secret treaty signed by every state and their successors. So, for instance, every future leader and so on. And they all take this to their grave, and all their subsidiary organizations take this to their grave. That seems unlikely, right? To any rational person.
Organizations, again, you just make stuff up, man.
Well, you agree that the top people of the Met Office would also be lying because they release pictures of space.
All subsidiary organizations. You made me.
I didn't say all. I said their subsidiary organizations.
You said all.
No, for instance, like every state and their subsidiary organizations. So like NASA in the United States, the Met Office in the UK, and so on, right? That's what I mean by subsidiary.
And I said no every time you've said the Met Office, bro. Like, how the fuck can most people at the Met Office, like, where are they going to get information?
It doesn't have to be most. It's even if it's a few of them, it's so unlikely.
All right.
Let's say you're in a situation like you're Nazi Germany, right? You're Nazi Germany, right? And you're about to fight a war. Because at this point, everyone believes the Earth is spherical, even Adolf Hitler, right? And in your last breath, you're Adolf Hitler, and you could drop a fuck you to the rest of the world. You could be.
That's why you used the swastika.
Well, you could be Adolf Hitler, right? And know that you're about to die.
Hitler knew the Earth was a fucking globe, which again, you just make stuff up.
Okay, well, hold on. Right.
If you do any research, you'll find out that maybe he never thought that, man.
But the point is, the point is that let's say you're Adolf Hitler or some other leader, right? It doesn't really matter who. You're at the end of the war, and you could do one big fuck you, right? You know, people are willing to nuke the whole world, right? You could do one big fuck you and say the Earth is actually flat. It's been a lie the whole time, right? And then shoot yourself in the head. But nobody does that. How curious!
What you mean? You have a good example. You have Von Braun in his tombstone. He has the feast. You know, he talked about the firmament in the. I mean, someone put that in the tombstone, right? So some people actually point out and put Easter eggs out there for people to see the opposite side of things.
I don't. Yeah, but these aren't governments, right? These aren't governments or their subsidiary organizations.
You were talking about the Nazis, right? Von Braun was a Nazi. Then he came and worked in NASA. He's like a godfather of rocketry. And then in his tombstone, they talk about the firmament. So where's the firmament in the globe?
I don't know who you're talking about. I've never heard of them before.
Doesn't matter who. I mean,
The issue here is maybe a pronunciation.
You just said that no one. He said that no one has done
I should amend that. I should amend that. Your pronunciation of whoever's name that is very hard to understand. So can you say it a bit slower, please?
Say what?
Well, I couldn't hear what he was saying. The name of the place.
Van Braun or Werner Van Braun.
Oh, Werner. Oh, yeah. Okay, right. I see.
He came over in Operation Dominant.
I don't know the science behind what firmament. I don't know anything about that. But the point is that he didn't announce in his last breath.
Questions and then talk.
Okay, but he didn't announce in his last breath the Earth was flat, right? Nobody does.
No, but he got to put on his gravestone.
By who and by what request?
That's kind of like his last breath. Huh?
So people might have vandalized. Who cares, right? The idea is that when you're in a situation when you have loads of states that would happily, like some states would like to see the world burn, right? Some people would, right? Some leaders might leave power and think, fuck you, right? I've had the secret and it's over. Like I'm going to tell everyone. And they don't. And I'm just curious. I'm curious, Spake, right? Like Occam's razor would tell me that it's probably the case that there is no secret cabal, right? There is no secret cabal.
Occam's razor would tell you the Earth is stationary and there's no curvature visible ever. That's what Occam's razor would tell you. That is the point of this. All these subsidiary arguments, man, they're all fucking pointless when it comes to the fact that they're not moving, bro. Earth's not moving. It's cold hard fact.
Yeah, but you think there's a global conspiracy of all national governments and their cosmological organizations?
There has to be one. Like there's obviously people over this fucking plane that are fucking involved in this and that are pushing fucking policies, narratives, blah blah fucking blah. But very few people have to know. It's all compartmentalized, just like NASA. It's all fucking need to know basis, man. So who really needs to know at the Met Office that the Earth's not moving?
The people who publish the people who send missions into space and so on, and people who publish photos and whatever.
People who supposedly send stuff into space, what are they getting? They're getting a signal on a fucking screen that gives them data that's been fed to them. So any probe that's out there, and if they are genuine people that are sitting in the control rooms, then they're getting fed bullshit data. That's the only way this can work.
Yeah, and the people who are feeding the bullshit, like even if there's a few of them, I'm not saying it's most of the world. It could be like a tiny minority, but I just find it very unlikely that the entire world's in this agreement, and the entire world's cosmological organizations are in this agreement, and because they're all government organizations, some parts of their government would have to be involved, right, or be in the know about it, right? Probably. Yeah, I don't know. I think you probably would struggle to sell this to anyone besides your schizophrenic friends,
Well, bro, see if you make another dumb comment, you can just stay muted until tomorrow, man, because I'm fucking sick of listening to your bullshit.
He's in the entire world. He spoke to everybody in the world. He knows everyone in the world, so he knows better than everybody in the world. That everybody agrees with him. Everyone.
And we're schizophrenic because
that's not why I said, obviously.
What he was saying is that there is, as you guys probably conclude, that there is a global account for that all governments put forward that the Earth is flat or round. Sorry, you guys would agree with that, right? That can you name like a country whose statement states that the world is not round?
What the fuck? Why? How could we give you that? Like, we've just been sitting talking to this guy and trying to explain at least I mean, I don't know. I can only give you fucking my opinion, man.
We can just go online and find what the
if I had a country that said this, then when he started this fucking ramble, before he started calling us schizophrenics for thinking that we're not moving, then I would have said, wait a minute, this country says this. So you asking that question was kind of pointless if you were listening to what's just been getting said.
So yeah, no, because I was listening because I was
That's what I'm
muted for a
saying.
good
So
portion of it, and I had to listen.
So asking that question is kind of pointless if you were listening.
Not really.
Country, I would have said this country said that, wouldn't I?
Can I talk now?
That makes sense. Does that make sense? What do you mean? Can you talk now? You're not going to acknowledge what I fucking said.
You're trying to say that the question is pointless, but I'm not seeing how it's pointless. I
Because I'm
actually see a
saying
lot of
if
value.
you were listening to my replies to the other guy who was saying the same thing, that all these countries would say blah, blah, blah. If I had a country, I would have said it. So you saying, can you name one country that said this? If you'd been listening to what was getting said, if I had a country, I would have fucking said it. So it was pointless saying it.
Why would we care whether you own a country? The idea is that the globalists own all the countries and that all of them
Who
are the
said I
ones.
own a country?
Okay, this is pedantic, right? You know what he
No,
means. Spake face. You
me.
know what he means.
It's me. I'm asking him
correct.
to fucking realize
Yeah,
what
so
I
wait,
mean.
am I?
If he was
No,
listening
no,
to what
he's
was
being
getting
pedantic
said
to you,
in reply,
CEO.
Didn't he
Jesus
state?
Christ.
Wait. Sorry, I apologize. Did you not state that if you had one, you would put the statement forward that the Earth was flat?
The astrophysicists that have given
Like
you
a country. Like if you had a country, you
Well,
would give
this
out your
current
national
paradigm
statement that the Earth was
openly
flat.
admit
Is that not a
that the
statement you said?
geocentric model is
Well, that's
actually
what I was talking
more
to the other guy, and he was saying, but surely
meaning
all
it
these
has
countries not blah
less
blah blah blah.
unanswerable
If I
problems.
had one, I would have told him. So you then
Did you know
saying
that?
after this discussion was in
I
the
did
middle
not
of
know
getting
that,
talked
and I
about,
haven't heard that
if I
from
had a
anyone.
country,
But
I
when I
would have
show it
said
to
it. So
you
you
in about
asking me
2
for a
minutes,
country that said it,
I mean,
it's kind of
and say
pointless.
that is the
And
case.
they're playing like
find that pretty
they
interesting?
haven't heard of the cosmology of
Is
the
that where the case?
ancients, like the
Sure, yeah,
Mayans,
that
the
would be interesting.
Hebrew
Again, I think
cosmology,
it's
even
just
the
worth referencing.
Egyptian
Dempsey.
cosmology.
No,
Dempsey,
no.
I've heard of that.
Bro, I'm in the middle of my sentence. Shut the fuck up.
The
Well,
Earth
you
is in a
interjected into
heliocentric
us, so calm down.
No.
We have the
You've
problem of
been
dark
spouting
matter
your BS, and you're
and
saying
dark
you
energy.
guys say this, you guys say
Because
that,
in
and you're putting all
1933,
this bullshit
they
into
found
other
out
people.
that
The
the
whole
galaxy
world,
only has about
the whole world is
1%
in
of the
agreement that
mass.
it's a globe. Everybody,
Have about
except
1%
you guys.
of the mass
I-
needed
Shut the fuck up, dude.
I
actually
agree with you, Dempsey, in the
move
sense
as
that,
fast
like,
as they do.
I think probably ancient civilizations
actually
probably
move
did think
10
the Earth
times
was
too
flat. That has
fast.
nothing to do with the idea that
And
I'm not
that's
talking
purely
about
ongoing.
flat or shape, and I was in the middle of my sentence.
the universe is
Many of the
changing.
old cosmologies, and the only odd
needs to
ones, the only
accelerate
odd ones
10
in
to the
history is
120th
you
power
guys.
faster.
You are the odd ones.
That's fine. So I agree that
Now, in a
that
geocentric
you know, historical
paradigm,
ancient
you do
civilizations
not
thought
have
the Earth
that
was flat.
problem.
I don't really. Oh, probably some of them did. Probably some of them
So-
maybe didn't. Right. But the
So
idea
the
idea
geocentric
isn't to
objectively
contest the idea that states didn't. Or, sorry,
significantly
not
more
states.
viable.
Civilizations used to think this. The idea is that
Isn't that interesting?
ongoing. It is a very globally
So I
well-connected
thought
world
that
where we can find out lots of
geocentrism
things about our government before
was
without
just
them
determining
wanting it to
whether
get
the
out and
Earth
all
is
those
at
sorts
the
of things.
center or the sun is at the
That
center.
all governments
and
in
it
the
didn't
world,
have
or at least
anything at all
most
to do
governments with
dark
any sort
matter.
of cosmological organization like the Met Office,
Well,
NASA, so
you're
on,
not-
right?
yeah, you
They've
don't
managed to
get
keep it
then.
relatively
Right.
secret
I
to the
assume
point
that
where
geocentrism.
nobody,
Well,
everyone thinks the Earth is spherical, right? And I
here's
think
the
that's
thing,
very
one
unlikely,
thing
right?
makes
I think
less
states would like to watch other
assumptions
states
to-
become
I don't even know
destabilized.
what assumptions
There's lots of
geocentrism would
reasons for
make,
why a state would want to fuck with
actually,
another state.
because
What
I'm
better
sure
way
that,
could you do it? Like Russia would nuke the United States, right? But you're telling
sure
me
that
they
whoever
would
snapped out the
No, they
sky,
wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
all
You're
they're
saying
doing
that,
is
but you don't
going
even
off
know
of
this.
Hold on,
those angles.
I'll
They're
amend
like,
it. I'll
okay,
amend
yeah,
it. I'll
here's the
amend it.
system.
I'll amend
Now
it. I'll
they're
amend it.
people that are saying, well,
Russia
these
would
are
nuke
bodies, this
Ukraine
is how
given the
far they
chance, right?
are,
If it was
this is
able
where
to.
we are, in reference to that,
And so
this and the third.
the
And
idea,
now there might be dark matter
right,
because
that
you
they
know,
would
there's
sooner.
something wrong with that particular
the United
model.
States with
Here's
Japan.
an anomaly.
The United
Then
States
you
would
do
sooner
that, and
nuke
then, oh my
Japan
God, here's
than
another anomaly over there.
Then the Japanese
and
would admit that the Earth was
mounting
flat.
and mounting
You
and
insane?
mounting.
That's a cool claim.
What is he chattering about?
So the idea, okay, like the idea is that in international relations, states want to compete, right? They seek power, they seek security, right? States will go to war, states will try to destroy other states, right? And these governments, right? They have power to destabilize. They have this great power to destabilize their foreign enemy that's trying to destroy them by saying, "Look, your government's been lying to you. They've been saying that the Earth is flat, spherical. It's actually flat, right? You've been lied to this whole time, but yeah, it doesn't happen."
So they only say the truth about this thing. This is the only thing they tell the truth about, or there's other stuff that they lie about, right?
No, it's It's just it would be a very significant thing for sure. But they do lie about lots of things, like lots of misinformation.
Lots of things, huh? Okay.
But it's not a global thing, right? It's not like the United States and Russia are in cahoots about misinformation.
No, it's definitely not a global thing. There's no globe, exactly. Good job.
Yeah, it's usually a domestic thing. It's usually a domestic thing.
Tell me, do you accept the official narrative for 9/11?
What's the official narrative? So a narrative that I'm
The
missing?
2 planes, the 2 aluminium tin cans took out 3 buildings that day.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, yeah.
Seriously? How did World Trade Center 7 collapse, free fall in its own footprint live?
Oh, you think it was an inside job? I understand what you're saying. I thought you were just saying just asking me if buildings flew into the Twin Towers, which they did, right?
No, that's not what I asked you. If you were listening, you weren't listening. I'm saying to you, World Trade Center 7 collapse, free fall into its own footprint live on the TV, and it was never hit by any plane.
They also, the BBC said that it collapsed 20 minutes before it actually collapsed.
Okay, well, listen.
Do you know what World Trade Center 7 is?
Yeah.
I don't think he's familiar with the 9/11 alternative story.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar
with it.
It's not about the story. I'm talking about like what happened on that day.
Yeah.
World Trade Center 7.
Yeah, so the
He
planes never flew
blindly
into the building.
believes the official narrative.
He's not American. He doesn't exactly know like the full narrative on it.
How did
They've had their own. The European people had their 7/7 thing, which was the same thing.
Yeah, but it's not.
Real quick, guys. Real quick. Can you raise your volume, bro?
The namings of all that stuff.
So World Trade Center 7
Everybody's
again. I'll
slammer
ask you
down.
again, man. Like, what's the story for a
Yeah.
building collapsing?
Okay, are you
footprint that was not hit by any kind of plane?
Are you familiar with the 7/7 bombings, BritNet?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I am familiar. Look, I'm familiar with 9/11. I just don't know these competing theories as well.
Yeah, but are you aware of?
Can you actually answer my question?
I'm answering a question for you.
He doesn't know about 9/11 though.
Kind of low, and these guys just keep rumpusing all over you. But I think part of the problem is like they can't hear you because you're kind of quiet. Can you turn up your level at all?
Is that better?
I don't know. Try to talk a bit more.
Is that better? 1 2 1 2.
Maybe. Go ahead with that.
So anyway, World Trade Center 7, bro. How did that collapse, free falling in its own footprint without a plane hitting it?
Oh, I don't know the engineering behind it, so I couldn't
Yeah, if he
possibly
hasn't
comment.
studied this, he's not going to have any kind
you
of
don't have
opinion
to
on it.
keep telling me what he knows and what he doesn't know. I mean, are you his fucking mum?
Oh yeah, like I said, I don't know the engineering behind if the towers could fall with a plane or if they couldn't, right? So I'm not going to make any comments on it.
Not the towers. World Trade Center 7, it was just a building that was on the side of it. It was not a tower.
Oh, I have no idea about that. No idea about that. Sorry.
It wasn't. Technically, it was a skyscraper. Yeah.
Couldn't comment on that. Sorry.
But BritNet, have you heard of the?
You can go and look it up, right? But this building collapsed, as I said, free falling in its own footprint. Wasn't hit by any kind of plane. There's loads and loads of fucking structural engineers and stuff all over the world campaigning to get this looked into again. So some of these countries that are supposedly at the throats of our countries, against the West, how come they've not turned around and gave any sort of input?
Yeah, no, I think those countries probably might even defy in some domestic terror narrative. But would they all be in cahoots?
The West against about 9/11.
Would they all be in cahoots over the shape of the Earth? Like, I don't think so.
Talking about 9/11.
What about when they got in cahoots and they said weapons of mass destruction, and many of these nations got together and killed millions of people in the Middle East?
That's not true. France denied.
Weapons of mass destruction. They never.
That's not true. They didn't.
Oh, so do you agree?
First of all, some states did.
Oh, you're saying, bro, you're the one that was making this claim.
Let me respond to Gemsy.
But mate, I'm trying to get you to fucking respond to me. Jesus fucking Christ,
I can't do two people at once.
I was talking to you first, bro. You were the one making a point that all these fucking countries are against us, and they would surely tell us that the Earth was fucking flat. So how the fuck are they not telling us that 9/11 was blatantly an inside fucking job?
Okay, so I'll just respond to Gemsy, then I'll respond to that. Gemsy, France denied that was weapons of mass destruction. There was opposition in many states that argued there was no weapons of mass destruction, such happened in Russia and China, right? It was not a global cahoots, and it only took 10 years for most states of the world now to admit, yeah, there wasn't, right? So
only 10 years?
Hey, bro, your argument falls flat. You're gonna have to take it because your argument just falls flat.
Okay, so just to go on it. There were people that denied the weapons of mass destruction, is all he's saying. Like France, specifically. There wasn't a continuous narrative found across the globe like it is with round Earth.
I just have one question about the flat Earth theory. Can I ask it? Is that cool or
why is Britnat muted?
I think it's because he wasn't directly answering Sparkface like he demanded.
Well, that's stupid.
I don't know why anybody's muted. Can I just ask? Where is the end of the Earth? Like where does it stop? You know.
They're going to
Like,
say they don't know, or there's an ice wall. There you go. Have fun with that answer.
You right now on the globe, you're standing on the edge of the globe. Have you ever thought about that? On the globe, you're standing on the edge, bro. There you go. That's your answer.
well, I'm asking someone who believes the Earth is flat. Like, where's the edge?
I just told you their answer. I've already asked them this a million times. They either don't know, or it's an ice wall that surrounds the edge of the Earth.
Well, hold on.
What edge? What edge?
Why are you saying hold on?
What edge are you talking about? What can you specify? What edge are you talking about?
Well,
is it an edge that you see? Do you have like an image in your mind, and you're saying, "Oh, look, the flat Earth," in your brain, in your mind, you're imagining one thing, and you're saying that doesn't make any sense. Whatever you picture in your mind.
No, that's not what I mean. Let me explain what I mean. What I mean is that if Earth as we know it is flat, and all the continents and all the oceans exist on a flat plane, then there must be a certain all humans. If we,
but you're saying in your mind you have an image in your mind about a flat Earth, and you're saying there must be an edge in this image that you picture in your mind. That's not what reality is.
That's what it means to be flat. It means to be a 2D plane, right?
Yeah, but
that's what it means in your imagination. In your imagination, that's what it means.
Bro, we're not saying that the Earth is any kind of shape. So to claim an edge would be off of some kind of shape, surely.
What does it mean for the Earth to be flat? What does the word flat mean?
Well, it's topographical, sorry, and there's no curvature. That's all we're saying, man. When we say flat, we just mean it's not.
When we say flat, we mean it's a 2D plane, right? It has no z-axis. There's an x-axis and there's a y-axis, but there's no z-axis, right?
Does it look two-dimensional?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, is that what you mean by flat?
Does the Earth look two-dimensional?
I don't know if I'm asking you.
You don't know if it looks like it. You don't know like how to perceive reality.
I perceive the Earth with my own two eyes as flat, but I'm asking you because you believe the Earth is actually flat. I'm asking you.
Topographical.
When you say it's topographical, what do you mean?
Hills, mountains, valleys. But most of the Earth's surface is covered in water, bro. 70% of the Earth's surface is said to be water. So we know how water behaves. It doesn't take shapes.
Wait, 70%? Where did you see that with your own eyes?
Bro,
how do you know the world is 70%?
Hold on.
It's your claim from your fucking globe pushers, man.
No, because if you look at it as a azimuthal projection, right, it's like a lot more than 70%. If you were to believe in Pizza World.
But I don't really care what percentage of the Earth there is. Yeah. I don't really care for the purposes of this conversation what percentage of the Earth is or isn't covered in water.
But when most of the Earth's surface is covered in water and we know how it behaves, it doesn't take shapes and hold them, does it? It'll move when it's getting moved. There's wind, there's waves, there's tides, swells, whatever the fuck. But water finds equilibrium and lays flat.
So if you have a flat plane, I think a great example of a flat plane would be like the tabletop of like a dining room table, right? I have a dining room table. The top of it has X and Y, but no Z, okay? It might have some scratches, so there might be some topographical differences, but for the most part, it's flat, right? That's what we mean when we say it's flat. Now there are edges to my dining room table, right? There are places where the land no longer continues, right? Where it stops.
Bro, tables are
Right?
table shaped.
Are you on purpose trying to not understand me? Because
No,
I don't.
tables are table shaped, bro. We are not claiming the Earth is a shape. I said it right at the start
You're
before you gave me
claiming
these
the
other
Earth is
analogies.
flat.
No, I'm saying
you
to
are
you,
claiming the
we
Earth is flat
experience
shape.
a flat
A flat
stationary
shape.
Earth.
A shape
Flat's
is
not a
inherently
shape.
flat, dude. Flat is not a
Flat is
shape.
not a shape.
All right, flat incurs that there's a shape being described.
No,
Wait, yes,
flat
flat
is a
means that you are
That's not what he's saying,
defining.
though.
of the
He's saying
surface.
flat is a shape. That's not what he's saying.
Okay, so just to
It's a
clarify,
description
you are
of most
defining.
of the Earth's surface.
You are defining the shape of a surface.
Oh.
And you are stating that the surface of the planet,
Is
whether
topographical.
it's it is flat. The room is called flat
A
Earth.
shape is inherently flat, dude.
Flat Earth means not a round Earth. That's what it
No,
means.
it means that you are speaking
Oh, you
to
say no?
that it is
You're
flat.
not a flat earther, and you're gonna
And
tell
that's
me
not
what flat
knowing
Earth
basic
means and what this room means.
geography, bro.
A circle is round.
Or
It's also flat.
geometry.
Yeah, funny enough, a true sphere is flat.
Bro, what?
Yeah.
No.
Unfortunately, when you talk to a true sphere, do you know what an actual flat surface means? Oop, fuck! No, don't kill me.
Bro,
Sorry, play the video game part as I'm trying to alt tab.
A true sphere is flat. Let me write that down.
Are you trying to
Yeah,
outdo
it's
the
not
physics?
flat.
Is that what you're
If you uncurl
Hey,
the sphere, if you
can we
uncurl
stop?
the sphere and lay it down, the surface is totally flat.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
If
you
you
say,
turn a
you say my
sphere
table,
into a
you say my
2D
table,
object, it's flat.
CEO, can you wait? Can you wait for a
You
second?
just interjected, and I was continuing on a point that I was already on.
Eso te tiene que apretarlo.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
Yo sabía que eso te
Well,
aprieta.
sorry. So my table is an oval. My dining room table. Yo, can we stop the background noise? Okay, so my dining room table is oval shaped, but the top is flat. Now my dining room table has edges, and when I say an edge, I mean there is a point along said tabletop where there is no more wood. The top of the table stops. Where is that for the Earth?
Also, real quick, Dempsey, you're hot miking hard.
Also, you can't lay out a sphere into a flat surface. It's not physically possible.
We are assuming the Earth is flat for the purposes of my question.
Well, if it's hollow, it is possible.
No, it's literally not.
To lay it flat? Yes. To lay it into a singular coherent shape that you would call a circle? No. But if you turn a circle into a 2D object, it is actually.
What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.